In this module, we will add a video feature to the app. First, we will add a tube item component which will be used to display each video. The video feature will leverage the YouTube Data API to provide the videos. Before we can use this API, we first need to create a Google app. This simple process will enable the API and generate a key that we can use to access the API. Once we have created the Google app, we can create the video component. This component will use the key to search the YouTube Data API and return some videos. Then we will create the video detail page that will present the selected video. This component will need an additional package installed to render the YouTube embed that we use for the selected video. Once the module is over, you will have a working video feature in your app. When this module is over, this is what the video feature will look like. In the next clip, we will get started by creating the tube item component. The first thing we will add is the component we will render for each video in the list. In the Views folder, add a file named video.js. First, we import useState and useEffect. Then after that, we import text, view, flat list, image, and touchable without feedback. The touchable without feedback component does not provide any feedback when tapped. We will use this to wrap each item in the list of videos. After that, we will add the tube item component. Again, this is not the main component that will be exported from this file. This component will be used with the flat list to display each video in the list. Inside the tube item component, we will first add the video choice function. This will in turn use the chooseVid function as a prop that is passed in. This allows us to use the navigate function from this component. As an alternative, we could have employed the useNavigation hook to provide the navigation prop. The chooseVid function will make use of the ID prop that will be passed to the tube item component. Instead of wrapping the component in a view, we will instead use the touchable without feedback component. Each tube item in the list will be tappable no matter what part of it you touch. The onPress prop will use the video choice function. This time we add the view inside the touchable without feedback component. If we look at the documentation, we can see that the touchable without feedback component only accepts one child. If you want to use multiple children, you need to wrap them in a view. In order to lessen what we need to add to this file, again we apply the styles inline. We add some padding to the top and align the items in the center. We also set the border top color and border top width. This will add a border to the top of each item in the list. Inside the view, we will first add an image component. This will display a thumbnail image from the video. We use the style prop to set the width and height of the image component. After that, with the source prop, we use URI. This, of course, is how we use remote images. YouTube returns a thumbnail when you send a request to the Data API. We pass that thumbnail URL to the image with the image source prop. Then we will add a text component. This has an inline style that sets the font weight to bold. Inside the text component, we will add the title prop. This will display the title that is returned from YouTube. After that, the tube item component is finished. In the next clip, we will go over the process of creating a Google app and generating the credentials you need to use the YouTube Data API. Google offers numerous services that we use every day. Many of these can be used for free, such as Gmail. A Google account also provides you access to the many services Google provides for developers. Although production use may require some sort of cost, many of these can be used in a limited capacity for free. Among these services is an API that lets you interact with YouTube. The YouTube Data API will even let you return a list of videos based on what you searched for. If you go to console.cloud.google.com, you can see the Google Developer Console. The drop-down in the upper left will say select a project if you have never created a Google app. Click on the drop-down at the top left. When the menu opens, click Create New. Understand you have a limited quota of apps that you can create, and the message at the top lets you know how many apps you have left in your quota. Give your project a name. An organization is not necessary for our purposes. If you aren't automatically taken to your app, click the drop-down and select it from the list. Then click on the dashboard link to go to your app. Then in the menu on the left, click on APIs and Services. The APIs that are already enabled for this app will be listed below. The YouTube Data API is not enabled by default, so we click Enable APIs and Services at the top. Scroll down until you find the YouTube Data API v3. When you click on it, you will navigate to a detail page. From here, click Enable. Once that is done, click on Credentials in the menu on the left. Now understand that access to this API is limited, and too many requests from your key will get it blocked. For limited testing and development, this is fine, but keep this in mind for a production app that uses a Google API. In order to make a request to the API, we need an API key. Click on Create Credentials. Then choose API key. This will generate a key that you can use for your requests. Keep this key secret and do not share it. This key is unrestricted, so in a production environment, you might want to restrict what APIs can use this key. Copy and save this key if you like, as we will need it later. It's not really a big deal if you don't save it right now, as we can always see the key in the console. If you click on the key itself, we can see some information about the key. We can also restrict the key by application or API. In the case of applications, we can restrict based on websites, IP addresses, Android apps, or iOS apps. If we click on Restrict Key under API restrictions, we can choose the Google APIs that we can use with this key. Now that we have generated the API key, in the next clip, we will create the video component. Now that we have created the Google app, let's go back to the video.js file. Beneath the tube item component, we will add the video component. We pass the navigation prop, so we have access to the navigate method. Then we initialize the list loaded state variable. This will be used to identify when the list of videos has been loaded. We initialize the variable with the Boolean set to false. Then after that, we initialize the video list state variable with an empty array. This variable will be used to hold the list of videos that is returned from the YouTube Data API. We will use the fetch method to grab the data from the YouTube Data API. As a result, we will add a function named getVids. Again, we will use an async function. The endpoint we use starts with www.googleapis.com/YouTube and /v3. Then we add /search and the part equals snippet. The Q is what determines what we are searching for. The type is video, and then finally add the key. Again, keep this key secure. In a web app, I will be cautious about adding the key, but for a React Native app, it is not that big of a deal. This is because the app will be compiled into an app bundle. Then we will grab the response from YouTube. We will parse this response with the JSON method. Then we set the video list state variable. We use the arrayFrom method to create an array from the response. In the catch, we will just log any errors to the console. Then finally, we set the list loaded state variable to true. We will use this to display the list once the data has been loaded. Then we add the useEffect hook, which executes the getVids function to load the list of videos. We of course add the empty array as the second option, so this runs just once. After that, we add the selectVid function. This is the function we will pass to the tube item component as a prop. As a result, we pass in the video ID of the selected video. This function will navigate to the video detail page. This will also pass along the video ID as a route param. Then we wrap everything in a view component. Unlike most view components we add, we will not use any props. We will use conditional rendering here to display the correct view depending on if the data is loaded. When the data is loaded, this is what will be rendered. We will wrap this in another view component. We add some padding to the top with an inline style. The view component will wrap a flat list. The data for the flat list will come from the video list state variable. The render item prop will use the tube item component. We will use the item passed in from the render item to access what we need from YouTube. Remember that an item object is passed in for each item in the list. We use that to grab the video ID, which we will need to display the selected video. Then we add the title prop. Notice that the path that we access the title from is different from the video ID. I had to actually look at the return data to get an idea of how it is formatted. If we enter the endpoint that we used in the fetch method in a browser, we can see the data that is returned. This is how I found the path that I needed to use. After that, we add the image source prop. The thumbnail is available in a default, medium, and high version. The difference between these images is the size. We use the high version, which is 480 by 360 pixels. Then finally, we add the choose vid prop that allows the tube item component to use the select vid function. While the list loading state variable is false, this is what will be rendered. We add some padding to the top of the view component. The view wraps a text component that says loading. The last thing we will add to this file is the export for the video component. Now that the video component is finished, in the next clip, we will add the video detail component. Now that we have a component that displays a list of videos, we need a component to display the selected video. The video we select will use a YouTube embed. This returns the video in an iframe. Now, previously we used the render HTML component to display HTML, but it's not that simple with an iframe. Instead, we will use a web view. Like async storage, this used to be a part of React Native, but is now its own separate package. The React Native web view lets us render web content in a native view. Navigate to your project in a terminal. Once you are inside your project folder, you can use npm to install the web view. This will also be added to the package.json file inside your project. Then in the views folder of your project, create a file named videodetail.js. The only import we have is for the web view component. Notice that we don't need use state or use effect. How we access the videos will be different from the way we access the blog posts. We will not need to use the fetch method this time. Then when we add the video detail component, we only use the route prop. We will not need to use the navigation prop for this component since we will keep the default header. This, of course, will supply us with the back button. After that, we grab the video ID from the route params. We use the YouTube embed URL with the video ID. We enclose everything in backtick so we can apply the vidID variable in line. Of course, we have to wrap the variable in curly brackets and proceed it with the $sign. Then we add the web view. First, we add the style prop with an inline style. We use this to add a margin to the top of the web view. Then we set the JavaScript enable prop to true. This ensures that JavaScript can run inside the web view. The last prop we add is the source. We use the tube URL for this prop. The last thing we need to do is export the video detail component. After that, save your project. In the next clip, we will add the video feature to the routes and make it accessible from the menu. Now that we have the video feature created, we need to add it to the app. This should be familiar to you as the process was similar for the blog feature. First, let's go to the app.js file. The first thing we need to do is import the video component. And then we import the video detail component. Once the components are imported, we can add them to routing. First, we add the route for the video component. We will name this route videos with an S. This will be how we identify the route and, more importantly, navigate to it. We set the title of the header to read video lessons. The video component will be rendered for this route. Then we add the route for the video detail component. The name that we use for this route will be video detail. The title in the header will read watch lessons. Then the last thing we need to do is add the video route to the button in the menu. Go to the menu.js file. In the touchable opacity that says lessons, make sure the navigate method uses the videos route. After that, save your project. Now that the video feature is finished, in the next clip, we will demo the app. In this clip, we will demo the video feature that we added to the app. The first thing we will do when the app starts is navigate to the video feature and verify that we can access it. Once we navigate to the video feature, we can verify that multiple videos are listed. Then finally, we can verify that the video we selected is displayed. After that, we can play the video to be sure the YouTube embed works. The first thing we need to do is start up Android Studio. Launch the Virtual Device Manager and start the emulator. Once the emulator starts, navigate to your project folder in a terminal. Run the React Native start command. This will start the Metro bundler. Leave this running and open a second terminal. Navigate to your project folder and use the Run Android command. After a moment, the app should launch. When the app launches, tap the Lessons button to navigate to the video feature. A small list of videos should be displayed. We get this small list based on what we searched for. Since we use the flat list, we can handle a long list of videos if necessary. Tap a video and you should navigate to the selected video. After the video loads, tap it to play it. We can also turn the video horizontally. We have now leveraged the YouTube Data API to provide videos for the app. Coming up in the next module, we will learn how to compile an app that is ready for release.